Hey YouTube. So I wanted to talk today a little bit about games that allow us to play around with style. And specifically, I wanted to talk about the potential of these kinds of games for queer folks. So you may have thought from the title of this video that it's about physical dress up, but no, we're talking about virtual dress up. So specifically, I'm thinking about a couple different games. So I play The Sims 4 a lot, and one of the reasons I really like The Sims 4 over the previous versions, and I have been playing it since I'm pretty sure the first Sims, but one of the things I like about The Sims 4 is that it lets you it divides gender up, basically. So it lets you, rather than saying like your sim is a male or female sim, it lets you pick masculine or feminine for things, or even for things where that language isn't necessary. You can pick things like, does your sim pee standing up? Like very specific different things where you can pick one or the other. And with clothing, you can pick that your sim wears masculine clothing, feminine clothing, or all clothing. And obviously, I mean, it's not perfect because what is masculine or feminine clothing, but I think that's kind of cool. And so you can have a sim, for example, whose, body is, flat chest and narrow hips, who wears makeup. So anyway, that's just like one thing that I like about The Sims 4. But in general, like any game like this that allows you to create an avatar and play around with it, there's lots of different options for clothing. And so I thought of this because I thought of this video topic because I was recently fell into the black hole of custom content for The Sims. People who have designed clothing and hair, and makeup and everything that you can put into your game, so mods for the game. And I found myself like a kid in a candy store going through all these different options and cool shoes and cool hair. And it made me think about how these kind of games can be really freeing in a way, or just fun for queer people, in the sense that they allow you to try on literally all sorts of different styles, and you can have an avatar that is that presents as a different gender than how you present. So like the most obvious of this, of course, is like trans folks before transitioning can experiment with like what their ideal self might be, but also like as a non-binary person, and I think as like more practically as someone who has a real body that has to go out into the world and actually dress into clothes that actually exist. It can be super fun to be able to just pick random things and not worry about practicality. So I can have Sims who wear shoes that I would never be able to walk around town in, or like if your ideal gender expression is something that would require a lot of work and you don't have the spoons for it, these kinds of games let you play around with that and have fun. Similarly, like Second Life is a game that a lot of, I think, trans people, especially trans women, found really useful, in the sense that they got to play around with gender expression and be themselves in a virtual world and meeting actual people in the form of that avatar. When I played Second Life, like I spent the entire time just getting clothes and like trying on clothes. Like I never did anything else in Second Life. And like with The Sims, like I was just spending all this time going through custom content that like I probably never actually play with, but it was just like fun to explore. So I think like that that opens up interesting possibilities. Also, like financial access, you get to like play with the kinds of designer clothes or whatever that you'd never be able to afford. And I think this can be like really useful and fun, but it also got me thinking about like how it kind of like any computer game probably reinforces capitalism in the sense that you're like you're going through this process of wanting to have all the clothes and all the shoes, and like how does that maybe like transfer over to real life, or like reinforce the idea that in order to play around with your gender expression, like you need all these options. So I don't know, like maybe subconsciously it is actually could be kind of harmful in that way, but I think like I'm curious how if there are differences in the way that like queer and trans people play these kinds of games than other folks, or if you are a queer or trans person and you've had this experience, then leave a comment below because I'm curious. So anyway, there it is. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy random topics like this.